Talk more on the Ministry of Education's plan to prioritize improving tertiary institutions in Nigeria. I'm joined by a former education specialist with the UNICEF and CEO, System Strategy and Policy Lab, Murtala Mohammed. Good to have you join us on TVC Midday News. First, what was your initial reaction when you heard the Ministry of Education say that there are over 200 bills proposing new universities? Is this something we should be excited about or something that is a cause for worry?
I think, good afternoon, listener, and it's a great opportunity for me to be with TVC this afternoon. I think it's something that we should worry about, bearing in mind that if we are to add additional 200 universities now, then at that much, maybe the number will be like over 400 universities in the country. And it's a very difficult moment when we are struggling with the funding. And then how are we going to manage this university? I think what we should focus on at the moment in the country, it's on quality, not quantity. We need to focus on the quality of education we are delivering in Nigeria, not the quantity on the number of universities for political reason, for political gain. And I'm struggling behind the minister when he said we should be very careful with increasing the number of universities because of political reason. Almost every senator, every member of House of Reps want to have university in its constituency. That is not possible. At the moment, Nigeria is only spending 1.4% of the GDP on the education sector. And the global recommendation is basically that we need to spend 4 to 6% of the GDP on the education sector. It's not even up to 2%. Then by the time we have additional 200 universities, where are we going to get the money? Where is the funding coming from?
Indeed, the minister has mentioned that it's a lot of pressure, and for him, he's placing emphasis on strengthening the existing universities by rebuilding infrastructure to actually enhance the quality of education. But talking about quality, how do we go about it? Because many people have queried our curriculum, the fact that there are obsolete, courses, subjects that do not really relate with the 21st century.
Okay, now you raised two fundamental questions. One, the question of quality, and two, the question of curriculum. Now let me go with the question of the quality. You see, for you to have an improved learning outcome, either at primary level, at secondary level, at university level, you must have three people that are ready. One, the teacher or lecturer that's ready to teach. Two, the pupils that are ready to listen. And three, the learning environment that is ready to accommodate the pupils. Then if you look at our system, there is no readiness for these three. The lecturers and the teachers are that much if they are fully ready to teach because of the level of hardship around their salary, around their income, around how they have access even to the schools because of increase in fuel. The removal of fuel subsidy has really affected them also. The income inequality, a lecturer, a teacher is not collecting what somebody in CBN, in FIRS, in NISAL, in MOFI, they are collecting. So when you look at the readiness of the teachers and lecturer, it's very weak. The readiness of the student and the learners, the student at the tertiary institution, the learners in primary and secondary, how ready are they to learn? With poverty, with difficulties, with transportation challenges, with no water in the schools, no toilet facilities. So all these they are not also ready. Then the learning environment, how conducive it is. It would be good for you to visit any of this university lecture room and see over like 500 students in one lecture hall, 300 students in one lecture hall. There is no air condition, there is no fan. The windows are just like not providing adequate ventilation. So the readiness is the most important thing. For learning to take place, these three factors must be in place. But as I'm talking to you, the lecturers, the pupils or the students, the learning facilities are not well equipped adequately to even provide our students and the learner with the skills and competency and capacity to compete globally. Now let's go back to the curriculum. We must be able to train our students, train our pupils, train our children at even pre-primary, primary and secondary with the skills that they will compete globally, not only locally. If there's a job opportunity in London, in New York, in Washington, somebody from my village should be able to apply and compete in that job. And that's where the competitive curriculum issue come on board. But I see with the coming of this new minister, Tunji Rauf is trying to come up with something that has to do with TVET, is giving priority for technical and vocational education, and also focusing the issue around curriculum review, looking at science, technology, engineering, and medical sciences. But we have a long way to go when we talk about reviewing the curriculum.
All right. So do you think this is a legislative issue, or is it about, a change of psyche? I mean, how do you think we should approach this change that we desire to see in education system, especially in the tertiary education sector?
Okay, I think stakeholder engagement is number one. And also, we should be consistent with our policy. Now, let me take you back to December 2023. When we have the former minister, Professor Tahir Mamman, we were in Akwa Ibom at the Ibom Resort Hotel for 3 days with the minister. And we have 13-point agenda in what we call the Renew Hope Education Agenda for Nigeria with 13 solid points. The Mamman Tahir narrowed it down to 4 points called DOTS: data, out of school, teachers, and skills. We call it DOT agenda during Mamman Tahir, 4 points. When they removed Mamman Tahir just a few months ago, we have a new minister. He now come up with another 6-point agenda. So within 2 years, we have 13-point agenda that is there. We have a minister that narrowed it to 4 DOT agenda that is there. And we have a new minister now with 6-point agenda. So the implementation of this 6-point agenda, 4-point agenda, 13-point agenda need to happen at state level. We have governors that are managing state universities. We have governors that are managing tertiary institutions. We have governors that are also handling primary and secondary school. But if the inconsistency of the policy at federal level might likely also affect state governors. So one area we need to work on is stakeholder engagement. We need to calm down at the moment, call all stakeholders, regularly engage stakeholders, maybe in a quarterly meeting, where the technical people will come in, the civil society, the governors, because any minister of education that did not carry the 36 governors along, he may likely fail. Federal government own only 115 or 20 federal colleges. All the schools in Nigeria are owned by the governors. The same thing state universities. So, one is stakeholder engagement. 2, we need to review our data and see where we are. We have a lot of data coming to the country as a kind of disjointed way. We have World Bank data, UNICEF data, UNESCO data, GPE data, and where is the federal government data? So federal government need to strengthen the NAMIS, Nigerian or National Education Management Information System. So data is number 2. Then number 3 is the issue around the legislation. If you look at the UBEC intervention funds, money coming to UBEC for 36 states since 2014 or since 2004, it's only 2% of the consolidated revenue. When our population was maybe around 120 million, now we are about 200 million. It's still the same 2%. Even though the value of money might be fluctuating, we might have higher value or lower value now. But with the population growth, we need to have increase in the allocation to UBEC from 2% to also 5%.
All right, so, Mr. Mohammed. I know you can go on and on, you're so passionate about this, but really do hope that some of the recommendations you've made would be looked into to improve our education system. Former education specialist, UNICEF, and CEO, System Strategy and Policy Lab, Murtala Mohammed. Thank you for your time on TVC Midday News.
Thank you.